A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David. And firstly, for those on streaming, apologies. It seems to, even though it's not up on the screen, every time I walked into the radio room, I found the streaming on. So I will have to try and go and eliminate those ones that were on. We will definitely leave this one here. Good evening, everybody. It has been a thoroughly miserable day here at Gulf Harbour, and it can only, it is worse further south with gale force winds and shocking weather down in the South Island and through Cook Strait, but it's certainly nothing to write home about here. You only have to shut your eyes. 1 minute it's a ray of sunshine, and the next minute is driving rain. It is totally miserable. 13 degrees outside. It was 10 this morning. 1011.6 and rising on the bar. It's been anything from 20 knots northwest. It's now about 15 from the west northwest. So it's just squally, and it changes every half an hour. I won't give you the cloud cover. I wrote down 70%, but now it's 100%. So you will get the picture of what it's like. I'll give a bit of news later, but first of all, let's go to the boats in order. I will pick up Alula, Rubicon, Narida and Carrera, and it looks like there's certainly wind at the top and the bottom of those that group, but in the middle with Alula and Rubicon, maybe not so much. Alula, Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour, this is Alula. How copy, Patricia?
Oh, it's actually quite good. I didn't expect it would be because it's quite noisy on the band, but no problem. You guys look as if you've slowed down a bit, but go ahead. Over.
Yes, we have. We've been sailing today, which is quite good. Alula has a 1.4 metre extra on top of her mast, so we do quite well in those conditions. But it has only been about 6 to 8 knots all day, so quite slow going, but we were able to point almost to Minerva, so that was quite exciting to turn the iron sail off for about 10 hours over.
Oh, that is good news. So at least it's in the right direction. There's quite a group at Minerva at the moment. Boats I haven't actually heard of, but one boat left today, Tintin, but there's about half a dozen there. So you'll certainly see the masts when you get closer. Go ahead with your position.
Thanks, Patricia. Okay, so Alula's position is 26 degrees 21 south. 179 degrees 45 east on a speed of 5 knots. We're motor sailing. Our heading is 25 degrees true. Our wind speed is 6 knots from the north-northwest. Swell about half a metre from the east. Cloud cover 5%. And 1012 on the bar, over.
Okay, we have Alula, who's been sailing all day, or motor sailing, 6 to 8 knots actually, so that's pretty good, isn't it? Anyway, position 2621 south, 17945 east, waiting to cross the date line, on a course of 025 true, about 5 knots motor sailing, and half a metre from the east swell, slowing them down a bit I guess. 1012 on the bar and only 5% cloud cover. Well, very different from what I'm looking at outside our window. Over.
Yes, I must admit it has been a beautiful day, but yeah, we still sit out there wishing for a tiny bit more wind. We have heard from Cowrie. She is 160 miles dead south of us, and they have 25 knots northwest, over.
Yeah, I was looking at what Jan's got, so that's interesting, isn't it? Only 160 miles south of you and 25 knots. Boy. I'm going to pass the microphone for David.
Well, yeah, the wind's feeding the front, knocking on the door. So, well, you should be in Minerva tomorrow, is that correct? Over?
I'd love to be, but I do think it will be Thursday morning, over.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, tomorrow in the Minerva area, it looks like it's going to be northeast about 10 knots. There's your 10 knots. We just can't seem to get away from that, it would appear. I'm surprised that you don't have showers right now, because I'm looking at satellite imagery that's it's a couple hours old, and there are breaks in what I'm looking at. So you are in one of the breaks, it would appear. But I wouldn't be surprised that tonight that you would get some showers, and tomorrow, and possibly Thursday as well. And all that is from this frontal band that's just slowly drifting to the northeast. And your friend has got those winds because the low pressure inside that axis is creating quite a bit of pressure differential. So definitely getting some wind down there, but you're not. So for tomorrow and Thursday, scattered showers is what I see, I think. And winds, like I say, about northeast, maybe 10. Thursday, probably about the same thing. Maybe north 10 on Thursday as you get into Minerva. That's about when Rubicon's going to get there too, I think. So, not much wind, that's for sure. But that's what it looks like. Over.
Yes, I was just looking out to the east, and on the horizon there's definitely the rain. It is around, the satellites aren't wrong. And I guess if we don't have much more wind, we might have to go and get some trays and maybe trade for a little bit of diesel over.
Yeah. I'm looking at any squalls in this band that I see. Now, most of those squalls are to the south of you. There's a couple around. Anyway, if you get concerned about any of it and you have the juice, turn on your radar and you'll definitely pick them up on radar. You'll be able to pick up the squalls without any trouble.
Have a radar?
So, I mentioned you. Yeah, you have a radar. Of course you do, don't you? Over.
Actually, at the moment we don't have a radar. Our boat rolled over and it got ripped off in the rollover.
Oh my God, when was that?
Oh, when did this happen?
When we bought her, she was a write-off down in Bluff, and she got rolled over in the Auckland Islands. So that was a few years ago, and I haven't been able to afford to put a new one on over.
Oh dear. Okay.
Well, at
All
least
right.
she's sailing.
Well, anyway, you'll know if you have a squall. You won't need the radar. You'll know. Anyway, it doesn't look too bad at all. I don't think there's much to worry about. Most of the bad stuff is truly to the southwest of you. So, okay, well, we'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll be very, very close to Minerva at that point. And yeah, that's about it. Here's the boss.
Well, at least you won't have to use too much diesel to just apportion your time to get there in good light. And I'm very pleased that you put the radio ahead on the financial expenditure list before the radar so that we could all talk to you. Okay, we'll clear with Jimmy and Gemma and head to Rubicon Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour, Rubicon, how copy?
Oh, nice copy, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
Roger that. We're at 2715 South, 1790, 42 West. We're traveling at 030. We are about 5 knots, motor sailing. The wind is about maybe 5 knots, northwest, north. Sea state is pretty mild. Calls are about, let's say, 75%. Pretty much everything that Elizabeth said is exactly what we've been doing as well, okay?
Yeah, roger that. Motor sailing, but they had very little cloud cover and you've got 75% and not that far away from them. 2715 south, 17942 west. They've crossed the date line on the not such good side of the date line now. Haha. 030 true, 5 knots motor sailing with about 5 knots of northwest, northwest wind, calm and seas and about 75% cloud cover. So you're just trucking along, getting to Minerva on probably Thursday morning as well, over.
We're thinking maybe Thursday night, Friday morning, okay?
Ooh, even
Oh.
slower.
What are you paddling?
Yeah, David wants to know, are you paddling, over?
Yeah, well, we were tacking for a bit there, but we did have a lovely 12 or 18 hours of sailing. We're looking at, I think we've got, 240 miles, okay?
Oh, okay. Yep, I can see that there's no point in rushing.
Yeah, there is.
Well,
really.
there is. Hang on a minute. I'll pass the microphone.
Well, in my opinion, I think you ought to try to get in before Friday, because there is a lot of convective activity is going to get churned up, from what I can see. There's troughs virtually everywhere, all around Minerva, in fact. Models are not in agreement, but there's a small, tiny little low that'll be well to the southwest of Minerva, but it's causing all kinds of havoc up around the Minerva area. Your winds Friday should be east to northeast, which that in itself isn't too bad. They're not very strong. But I do see a fair amount of convective activity, and it does look like some electrical storms, CBs in that area. That's on Friday. So it looks like it's not the case on Thursday. So if you can get in Thursday, I think you'll be a little bit happier if that's possible. Over.
Yeah, roger that. I'd be way happier to be on Thursday.
All right. Well, you'll just have to get the whip out and crack that to Guy along on his shift. So on his watch, I should say. So yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. You're going to get jealous of Jean's report in a minute, because it looks like she's got just very comfortable winds that you might have liked to have shared. All right, we'll clear with a Rubicon and again talk to you tomorrow, and go to Narida Gulf Harbour.
Gulf Harbour, Narida, how copy?
Very clear and lovely. Go ahead, Jan.
Okay, good clear copy on you as well, which is great. Okay, my position now is 28 degrees, 01 minutes south, 178 degrees, 38 minutes east. I'm on a course, I'm struggling to make a course of 060, at a speed of around 5 knots, just under 5 knots. And the winds are unfortunately and have been most of the day in the north-northeast, so I'm struggling to make a decent course. They're presently at 13 knots, so I've actually been sailing quite well most of the day. Had a couple of 2 or 3 nasty squalls last night actually, which really we went zipping along. My God, we went so fast, and I was frantically reefing in the furling in the jib. And then we went down to nothing, absolutely nothing in between. And I started putting the motor on, and then we got another squall. So it's pretty hectic last night. I slept quite well this morning. Anyway, the swell is still, there's still a hint of southeast about half a metre or so. But mostly from the north now, 1 metre, quite a short period. So we've been bobbing about quite a bit, backing into that. Cloud cover, 80%. And the barometer has dropped slightly again to 1018 at the moment. Over.
Okay, yeah, boy, I was always on the sort of midnight to 6 o'clock, and I hated it squally, because it drove you nuts, didn't it? Getting the sails right for that, and then there was nothing, and then there was a squall again. It just is very tiring. 2801 south for Narida on the way to Fiji, 17838 east. Course trying to hold 060 true, 5 knots. I shouldn't have said Fiji, because it looks like possibly Minerva. But anyway, 13 knots from the north-northeast, and that's interesting, because GFS have got 15 knots or 14 knots at north-northwest on my AIS at the moment, which is pretty recent. So last night, fairly hectic, squally night. Currently it's dropped down and no squalls, but the seas are not very friendly because of the southeast swell and the north swell. 80% cloud cover, 1018 on the bars. David, got any comments? Hang on.
Yeah, well, all that was part of that prefrontal trough that we were talking about. Yeah, it doesn't look like much when you're looking at a screen, but when you're on your yacht, different story, isn't it? Well, tomorrow I've moved you up to 26 south, and not much wind. I'd say about 10 knots maybe out of the north, give or take on that direction, but just, yeah, we'll call it north. North about 10. The front is not caught up to you yet, even though you may think it did last night, but no, it's still to the south, but there is a fair amount of cloud that's in your neighborhood, that's for sure. And within those bands, there are squalls. So it's very possible you could have another interesting night. From what I can see here, yeah, you could definitely have an interesting night. So anyway, be prepared for that, and we'll see what you get when we talk tomorrow. Over.
Okay, that's David. We've had a very calm day by comparison. A bit uncomfortable, which definitely the way. But at least no squalls since the night time. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. I'll let you know tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, it always is a bit of a stress when you're single-handed, but you do an amazing job.
Is she going to Minerva or what?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll see what it's like. David just asked if you were going to Minerva, definitely, or continuing to Fiji. Jan, over.
Well, the plan is actually to go to Minerva and then on to Tonga before I go to Fiji. But, you know, I'm waiting to see what it looks like as I get here in Minerva, whether I can stay or whether it's going to be put on or what the conditions are. But if I'm going to not get there before Friday for sure, then maybe, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Well, Friday is a tough day. It's going to be a tough day for Narita, I think. The models are not in agreement as to what is going to happen, but if I try to blend them all together, the winds they're going to, well, they could be either north-northeast or they could be west. It looks like they very easily could be cyclonic with that little low that may form. And that low may form about 26 south and about maybe 170, about 176 maybe, 176 east. And that's pulling in all kinds of convective activity. So, yeah, not very pleasant. I don't think you'd be in Minerva by, well, you might be there by Friday. And if you are, there, like I said, there is quite a bit of activity. See what happens if you slow down on Saturday. Hang on. Well, Saturday, things are looking much better. All of that disturbance that I'm seeing on Friday doesn't totally disappear, but most of it does. There's some leftover troughing that runs east and west. But the good news for you is the winds are radically going to change to the south. And that is the Minerva area, in fact, all the way up to Fiji. That's on Friday. So if things don't look so red hot when we talk tomorrow, you may just want to stay slowed down and let this mess decide to eradicate itself and wait for that wind shift. Over.
That's interesting. It's slowing down means, of course, next week of the motor. So it's good. I'm kind of looking at I've got 2.5 days of fuel to get to Tonga or whatever. Yeah, okay, I'm not rushing anywhere tonight then, and see until we go tomorrow.
All right, well, we'll talk again tomorrow then. All right, on to someone who has got wind. Carrera, Gulf Harbour. Nothing heard from Carrera at the moment. He's on the way to Savu, and unfortunately the AIS is about an hour old, but they are at 181833 and 17436. So I'll just give you a little bit of news in case that he's doing something topside. The French election has been interesting. The first round is quite a complicated process that they have in France, but the first round has been won quite convincingly by Marine Le Pen's far right. So Macron's party is in third place. So whilst this is only the first round, it looks like France is definitely heading for a hung parliament, which would be a little bit problematical. And of course we've got the election coming up in the UK, which is looking like a very thorough Labour win. In America, the Biden family have been ensconced at Fort David. What's it? Not a fort. Camp David, sorry. And it looks like they are very, very convinced that President Biden should stay on. I guess they like living at the White House, but it would be really good for the American public and the world if he decided to pull out at the next election, but never mind, we'll wait and see. And the other interesting thing was in Australia, there are no longer vape stores. I don't know how they managed to do that without a big uproar from the people that owned and ran them. Vape stores in New Zealand are a target for ram raiding and theft and God knows what. But anyway, there are no longer vape stores. If you want to vape, you have to get a prescription from your doctor and get it at the chemist shop. So I guess the chemist shops will be fairly happy about that. But there you go. It might solve a lot of the social problems relating to vaping. Okay, I'll just try Carrera again. Carrera, Gulf Harbour. No, nothing heard, but they've got plenty of wind up there to get them on the go from Tonga to Savu. Is there anybody else? Probably Bellina doesn't have an awful lot, but if you're there, Benno, a good evening to you, and I'll leave it to you if you want to call in. Is there anybody wanting to make contact? Please call.
Gulf Harbour, this is Alula.
Alula again. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hi, Patricia. We were just wondering if we could grab a station for Fiji Maritime Radio, over.
For what?
For Fiji Maritime Radio. Well, I would have thought that you would be able to contact them on any of the international frequencies, and probably from where you are, if you called them now on 82901 or 6215, or maybe a bit later on 4125, I don't know that they monitor single sideband because it's usually left to New Zealand to do that. But yeah,
What does he need?
An interesting question. Usually one would. I've never ourselves contacted Fiji Radio.
I don't think they'll
I don't even think they exist, but I will do some investigation between now and tomorrow. Over.
Thank you very much. Gemma said the same thing. She was not sure if they were there. We just need to update our arrival as we said 12 days, but as we have a little tear in our main, we're going to repair it in Minerva, so we wanted to update them there, over.
Okay, do you have email on board? Because otherwise I could just send them an email on your behalf, over.
Patricia, that would be absolutely amazing, over.
Okay, I will send that to them. I'm just looking at what information I have from you guys here. But what I will do probably is wait until you are at Minerva, and then you will be a bit more specific on your arrival time in Fiji, over.
Amazing. that would be really, really good. That would be perfect. Thank you so much. Over.
Yep, roger that, no problem at all. I'm just looking at my sheet for Fiji Customs, and this is in case anybody else wants it. The Fiji Customs yacht report, that's just all run together, yacht report at FRCS, that's Foxtrot Romeo Charlie Sierra .org.Fiji FJ, and if you want their telephone number, it's 679-331-5380, and I can certainly give Alula's information there. Could you just give me, while we're thinking about it, your what day did you say you were arriving? Over.
Just doing some math now. It was 12 days from when we left. Jim, we're just checking the calendar. 1 second, over.
Oh, that's good enough. I'll just
Do
look
it
at when
tomorrow.
you left, so but you can confirm that tomorrow. So no problem at all. We'll look at that, and they're not very fussy about things. Nobody actually arrives when they say they will, well, unless you're in a powerboat. So yeah, we'll sort that one out, and yeah, just give it a couple of days anyway. All right, is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour?
Obsession, Patricia,
Oh, hello Lisa, this is Obsession. Please don't tell me what the temperature and weather is like, but are you enjoying it? Over.
Okay, I won't mention that it's very warm. I'm loving it. We're in the combi. I just thought I'd say hi and say thanks so much for all the Cat 1 information you shared as well. Very interesting. Over.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how many inspectors they manage to recoup from those that have been doing it. So yeah, I haven't actually got to reading it myself yet, so I will be doing that shortly when things settle down a bit here. But yeah, oh well, you'll have plenty of time to get into it for next year. But yeah, we hope it's, well, they reckon it's going to run smoothly, but they've said that before. David's laughing in the background here. We're keen readers of Skipper magazine, and there are other systems that have not run so smoothly. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. We up there, we have unfortunately got winter now, and it was late in coming, admittedly, but we had got used to these lovely sunny, calm days, but they have definitely gone, and July is not shaping up to be very wonderful. So anyway, it is quite nice to know that other people are enjoying it. Over.
Well, yes, we've been in the water today and it's just beautiful. So, yes, but I won't go on, but I just wanted to say hi and say thank you. Over.
Yeah, and hi to Lester. Okay. All right, folks, if anybody wants the frequency, it's all yours. We'll be back again tomorrow. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, and we are clear.